From stories across the globe to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. A very good evening to you. I'm Sharifa Tahir.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Charita Vinipurarachi, and let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news.
The World Health Organization is to send 264,000 doses of corona vaccines to Sri Lanka by the end of this month. Sri Lanka's first solid waste power plant has been vested with the people. Minister Gammanpila says that the oil tanks of Trincomalee under the custody of India will be taken over by the government within several weeks for development. The President invites relevant sections in the tourism sector to prepare for a new journey overcoming challenges. Minister Kehelia Rambukvella declares open the National Development Media Centre. Football Friday program gets underway on next Friday.
We move on to those and other stories in detail now. Sri Lanka's first solid waste power plant was declared open in Keravalapitia today. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has presided over the opening ceremony. The plant adds 10 megawatts of electricity to the national grid with effect from today. Construction of the solid waste power plant has commenced in Keravalapitia in joint collaboration of the Colombo Municipal Council, the Ceylon Electricity Board and the Aitken Spence Company. The total expenditure of the project has been 15 billion rupees. A quantity of urban solid waste between 600 and 800 tons are being subjected to combustion daily at this plant. The project provides solutions to many problems faced by the Colombo city dwellers as a result of the constant accumulation of garbage. The Prime Minister, upon arrival at the plant premises, has unveiled a commemoration plaque to commence operations. Ministers C.B. Ratnayaka and Mahinda Amaravira, State Ministers Duminda Disanayaka, Nalaka Godaheva, Sita Arambepola and Nimal Lansa, Colombo Mayor Rosie Senanayaka and Chairman of the Aitken Spence Company, Harry Jayawardena, have also attended the occasion. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has also presided over an event today to provide houses to 112 families who have illegally resided in lands where underground oil pipelines are buried to transport oil from Colombo Harbour to the Kulannava complex. The event has taken place at the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation premises in Kulannava. The residents have been living illegally in an extent of 6.5 kilometers for a period of 35 years. The unauthorized occupation of these people have caused obstructions on the reconstruction of the pipeline. The government has taken into consideration of this fact and built 125 houses at a cost of 500 million rupees for these residents. The official handing over the houses to the occupants has taken place today. In parallel to this event, trade union representatives of the CPC have handed over a sum of 1.34 million rupees to the Prime Minister for the Diga Vapia Aruna Fund. Minister Uday Gammanpila, addressing the ceremony, said that the Trincomalee oil tank complex, which is currently under the custody of India, will be taken over by the government within the next few weeks for development.
And meanwhile, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa called on the entrepreneurs of the field to be prepared to embark on a new journey of overcoming challenges, as the tourism sector is a vital component of the national economy of the country. President made these remarks during a discussion held at the Presidential Secretariat today on the promotion and development of tourism sector. Heads of line institutes in the tourism industry and leading entrepreneurs were present at the meeting. In the face of prevailing COVID-19 pandemic, the government has taken every possible measure to provide all required facilities, notwithstanding the health-related restrictions imposed to ensure safety of the public. Attention was paid to give priority to the personnel such as hotel employees, tour guides and drivers under the ongoing COVID vaccination program. It was stated that there is no requirement to quarantine service providers with the tourists are not tested positive. A decision was taken to shuttle the infected tourists to the hospital in Koggala, managed by Lanka Hospitals Private Limited and Sri Lanka Army. President instructed officials to pay due attention to direct the tourists as per the approved tourism plan. The President advised the relevant officials to take necessary measures to improve facilities for tourists and to take into account the comments made by them when they depart for their respective countries. The entrepreneurs stated that they will take all possible steps to achieve future goals under proper strategies, as the development government has already provided necessary reliefs. During the discussion, it was revealed that according to the figures, the percentage of COVID-19 infected tourists who arrived in the country during the outbreak is less than 1%. Head of the Presidential Task Force for Economic Revival and Power Alleviation, Basil Rajapaksa, stated that the advantage of Sri Lanka ranking at the 10th place in the COVID-19 Performance Index for its successful handling of the coronavirus pandemic can be utilized for the promotion of tourism industry. He further states that the individuals who are engaged in tourism should take necessary measures to uplift the industry by adhering to the health guidelines during the challenging period. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga, Acting Health Minister Professor Channa Jayasumana, State Ministers Dr. Sudarshini Fernandopulle, D.V. Chanaka, Secretary to the President P.B. Jayasundara, and the Minister Secretaries, Head of State Institutions related to tourism industry, members of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 Prevention, and other officials participated in the discussion.
Defence Secretary General Kamal Gunaratne says that information has been received regarding the involvement of certain government officials in forest destruction and clearing of forests. He says that those who were found guilty of such offences will be punished disregarding their ranks. Defence Secretary General Kamal Gunaratne has made these remarks addressing a two-day conference of district secretariats at the district secretariat premises. Defence Secretary General Kamal Gunaratne said that the Gama Samaga Pilisandra program is being currently implemented. Under the program, the President visits a remote village once in every week and inspects functioning in such villages. The Defence Secretary further says that the President not only inspects the mechanism of activities in a specific village, but also on villages bordering such a village. He added that a team will also engage in post-observation to find out whether President's instructions have been properly implemented. The teams are required to hand over comprehensive reports on their findings to the President. The Defence Secretary also said that destruction of natural resources, including forests, are taking place despite the intensive surveillance of the police and the three armed forces. The Security Council have also conducted talks on how to locate such places of destruction. The Defence Secretary also said that information has been received regarding even certain government officials who were also involved in such irregularities. All efforts are being made to prevent the practice of using the government as a cover-up to hide the wrongdoings of these officials.
Acting Minister of Health Professor Channa Jayasumana says that 264,100,000 dozens of corona vaccines of the World Health Organization are scheduled to reach Sri Lanka by the final week of this month. It will be handed over as a grant under the COVAX program. Inoculation of the AstraZeneca vaccine on people in the Western Province has commenced at 23 health divisions and several identified Glamanidahari divisions today. The vaccination program has been carried out in the health divisions of Kolonnawa, Kothatuwa, Moratuwa, Egoda Oyana and Hanwella in the Colombo district, and also in the health divisions in Nagalavatta, Bandaragama, Matugama, Panadura, Horana, Beruwala and Kalutura in the Kalutura district. The inoculation process also gets underway in the health divisions of Gampaha, Attanagala, Nigambo, Siduwa, Mahara, Biegama, Wattala, Binuangoda, Ragama, Jayal and Kalani in the Gampaha district. Residents in the Moratuwa, Borupana and Agulana North have received the vaccine at the Lunama district hospital today. Medical Officer of Health in Moratuwa, N.M. Tilakaratna, said that the vaccination program will be carried out for 3 days from today. An inoculation program has also been conducted at the Manning Common Market Complex in Palliagudi today. Businessmen and employees have been given the vaccine. Around 1,500 people were inoculated at the Medical Officer's Health Office in Kolonnawa today. Vaccination program was also conducted at the Thangalla Maternal and Children's Clinic at Talagalla, Horana. A vaccination program conducted at the Vijita Primary School in Idigolla, Gampaha had inoculated around 890 persons in the Haludgama North and Graminadahari divisions in Gampaha today. Meanwhile, Speaker Mahindayapa Bevardhana has received AstraZeneca vaccine at the Army Hospital in Narahempita today. Indian High Commissioner in Sri Lanka, Gopal Bagli, was also present on this occasion. Several parliamentarians have also received the vaccine. The Parliamentary Communication Division says that 24 government and opposition members of parliament have been vaccinated today. The AstraZeneca vaccine has so far been provided to 196,163 persons under the COVID-19 inoculation program. 3,225 persons have been vaccinated yesterday. The number of COVID-19 recoveries in the country has increased up to 71,176. Accordingly, the percentage of fully recovered COVID-19 patients in the country is at 91.78. Meanwhile, 7.69% COVID-19 patients are receiving treatment at present, and this amounts to 5,964 patients. Another 369 COVID-19 patients were detected in the island today. 6 more COVID-19 related deaths have been reported yesterday. The victims were residents of Panadura, Kochikade, Pilayandara, Valiyoe, Nainamanda and Ambalanguda. They were aged 74, 40, 48, 77, 65 and 62 respectively.
In the meantime, Deputy Director General of Public Health Services Dr. Hemantha Herath says that the COVID-19 vaccines provide an extensive protection for the public to prevent any complications which would arise with the infection of the disease, including possible death. He made these remarks at a media briefing held today.
It is very important to note that vaccines give huge protection. That is basically to prevent the person getting into complications as well as getting the severe symptoms and also prevent a possible death. And that will be the main protection that will be given by this vaccine. However, the present evidence suggests that the transmissibility of the virus after vaccination is not yet fully established, and it is theoretically, yes, it will be reduced, but to what extent is not well known. But theoretically, again, it is possible that once the largest population is immunized, there will be a protection inherently gained. But until such a huge protection is gained, it is very important for all of us to maintain our health guidelines, wearing masks, keeping the distance, washing hands and all other health measures to the letter, because vaccination itself is not going to prevent the transmission to that extent. Vaccination is important. You need to get the vaccination and you will get a greater protection. But while taking the vaccination, it is very important to maintain all our health guidance that we have given to the general public.
He also urged the public to refrain from maintaining close contacts with foreign tourists who have been placed in a biosecurity bubble upon their arrival to the country.
The Ministry of Foreign Relations says that the temporary travel restrictions introduced on travel originated from the United Kingdom to Sri Lanka on account of the new COVID-19 variant in the UK has been lifted with immediate effect. A statement issued by the Ministry of Foreign Relations has indicated that the tourist arrivals from the UK will resume under the guidelines introduced by the Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau. The statement further indicated that a meeting presided by the President, it was decided to relax the restrictions on travel from UK subject to 14 days of quarantine and PCR tests determined by the health authorities.
It's time now for us to take a look at the global arena in terms of the pandemic. Coronavirus has killed more than 2.42 million people and infected over 110 million globally. Meanwhile, another coronavirus variant with a potentially worrying set of mutations has been detected in the United Kingdom. The new UK variant, known as B.1525, appears similar to the South African variant, which prompted door-to-door tests in areas where it has been found. Researchers have found 38 cases so far in samples, with the earliest sequences dated to December and cropped up in the UK and Nigeria. It has also been seen in other countries, including Denmark and the United States. UK experts have initiated studies to understand the risks posed through the new variant. The new variant has been detected with a mutation which can be found in the Brazil and South African variants, allowing the virus evade some of the body's immune system defenses. Experts have said that that's similar to the previous UK variant. The new variant is also more contagious than the original version of the coronavirus that started the pandemic. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization reported a 16% global drop in new coronavirus cases last week. Accordingly, the global figure of new coronavirus cases has declined by 500,000 last week to 2.7 million. In the first full week of January, new coronavirus cases had peaked at nearly 5 million. Last week, nearly all regions of the world have seen a downward trend in the new cases except for the Middle East. There has also been a global drop in deaths last week, with 81,000 new deaths, a 10% decrease over the previous week. The drop in new global cases and deaths comes as more countries roll out vaccines. India has confirmed cases of the COVID-19 variant first detected in South Africa and Brazil in the country today. The South African variant has been detected in 4 travellers last month. Over 150 cases of another variant first detected in the United Kingdom have previously been found in India. One patient with a mutation first detected in Brazil was also registered in India earlier this month. Cases in India have been falling dramatically and uniformly across the country for months, but the detection of the more infectious variants comes amid some worrying but so far isolated outbreaks. A cluster of over 100 cases has been detected in the southern India city of Bengaluru at an apartment complex. Meanwhile, another spike was detected in several pockets of Maharashtra state, including in Mumbai, the country's financial capital. Brazil has recorded more than 55,200 additional confirmed cases of the novel coronavirus in the past 24 hours, along with over 1,160 deaths from COVID-19. Brazil has registered more than 9.9 million cases of the virus since the pandemic began, while the official death toll has risen to 240,940. Healthy young volunteers will be infected with coronavirus to test vaccines and treatments in the world's first COVID-19 human challenge study, which will be taking place in the UK. The study, which has received ethics approval, will start in the next few weeks and recruit 90 people aged 18 to 30. Human challenge studies have played a vital role in the pushing development of treatments for a number of diseases, including malaria, typhoid, cholera and flu.
And Japan launches COVID-19 inoculation drive today, administering the Pfizer vaccine to Tokyo hospital workers as Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga attempts to defy the odds and host the Olympics this summer.
Japan kicked off its COVID-19 inoculation drive on Wednesday, the last of the group of 7 nations to begin a major vaccine drive. First in line to roll up their sleeves were Tokyo medical workers, including 37-year-old nurse Junko Hasegawa.
I was a bit nervous as I work in a place which has a higher risk of infection. By getting vaccinated, I think I can work with a little more reassurance.
But Japan faces a big hurdle, a shortage of syringes, meaning millions of Pfizer-BioNTech vaccines could go to waste. The government made urgent requests to manufacturers, but they're struggling to ramp up production. It's the latest headache for Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga, who is struggling to win public support. He's trying to defy the odds by pushing ahead with the Tokyo Olympics, set to start this July. Though daily cases are in decline, Tokyo and several prefectures remain in a state of emergency to stop the virus from spreading. Japan has signed contracts to get a combined total of 314 million doses from Pfizer, AstraZeneca and Moderna, more than enough for their population. Still, a complete vaccine rollout for millions of medical staff and tens of millions of people aged 65 and above could take more than a year, many months beyond the Olympic timeline.
And with that, we're moving to a short commercial break. Stay tuned with more local. The Brazilian government will give prominence for the development of the country amidst of whatever challenges. The minister has made these observations at the opening of the National Development Media Center. The National Development Media Center has been established with the objective of bringing information to the people under the Saubhagya Dakma National Program. Belinda Rajapaksa has been appointed as the director of the center. Minister Kele Rambukvela, addressing the ceremony, further said that the media center will also engage in responding to the national and international challenges on national security as well as to provide accurate information on national development.
Center for National Development, the requirement arose as a result of our Saubhagya Idiridakma, vision for prosperity. By the time that we embarked ourselves on that, we had no signs of whatsoever of a pandemic of this nature. When 2006 or 2005, His Excellency the President then, Mahinda Rajapaksa resumed duties, he knew what it was. He knew that there were certain barriers with regard to the front. He knew that the oil prices were soaring up that it was unbearable for developing countries. And the tsunami devastation. We all experienced that, we have enough experience of it. Nevertheless, we never discounted the development part of it against the terror that we had to meet, against the worst conditions, adverse conditions that we had to meet. So we have some experience in this sphere. But today it's a different scenario altogether. Time that we embarked ourselves on the policy framework of the present government, we had no clue, not an iota of clue with regard to this pandemic that we are facing today. Hence, I think it is important that we deal with the world media, national and international, and to convey a very strong message that we are a nation that can deal with any situation that we dealt earlier with a more serious situation. Here, we are now faced with a pandemic. Nevertheless, we will be able to, we are able and we are courageous enough to take on, head on this challenge and come victorious. And that's a message that we need to very clearly, with a clarity, to let the world know, let the national and international community. For that, we have set up this institution, where we feel that we will be relating all our development work, which will benefit the citizen of this country, and also attract the foreign investment that we are looking at, the tourism sector that we are looking at, the foreign employment that we are looking at, the tea industry that we are looking at, apparel industry that we are looking at. We need to pass this message on. We have been garlanded with something important, that we are considered as the 10th country out of 194 that we have where we managed this COVID pandemic quite well. Now that is something that we must take it on, that we must build on. And for that purpose, we need an institution that will gather every single information and disseminate to the rest of the world and to the nationally and internationally. And also, if you look at Gamasamaka Pilisandara, where you have a dialogue with the village, with the head of the state participating directly. The last one that I had, I participated. There were certain adverse comments by the Facebook. And few of those comments, I take it as constructive criticism, not just baseless criticism, but as constructive. Now, when you have constructive criticism, you should not turn around and say that this is because of that political party or this political party. You must take the content of it and see whether that content should be dealt with. And that's what we are trying to do.
Director General of Government Intervention Nalaka Kalueva and heads of state and private media institutions have also attended the ceremony.
The University Grants Commission says that 579 additional students have been recruited for this year's university admission. A significant number of examinations of state universities has been completed. Chairman of the Commission, Senior Professor Sampath Amaratunga, says that the percentage of students who have participated in lectures over mobile phones and the internet is 99%. Chairman of the Commission, Senior Professor Sampath Amaratunga, said that up to now only 30,000 students have been enrolled for university admission. He added that, however, they were able to recruit an additional 10,579 students this time. Many exams have already been conducted. Percentage of students attending lectures through mobile phones has increased to 99%. This was an unprecedented achievement in the history of the university system. He further said that during this year, it has been possible to confer degrees to a large number of undergraduates. The government has made arrangements to provide computers at an extremely low interest rate. The UGC chairman also said that the president told yesterday that all medical students attending clinical trials in medical faculties will be given the COVID vaccine. Minister Sarath Veerasekara says that the telephone number 118 has been introduced to convey information on women and child abuse and other issues connected to these crimes. Minister Sarath Veerasekara said that the hotline 118 is available to report on harassments on women and children and other related underworld activities, including ransom taking and drugs. He further says that complaints on other criminal activities could be conveyed through the hotline 119. Minister Sarath Virasekara has therefore requested women undergoing harassment to divulge identity of perpetrators of such crimes. He has asked not to remain silent if they are being blackmailed. The offenders will be arrested immediately and given maximum punishment. The minister also said that their priority will be to prevent the occurrence of crimes before they actually happen. He has also pointed out that it would be possible to minimize the occurrence of crimes if a sense of fear and shame is inculcated in the minds of the offenders.
And meanwhile, the 70th anniversary of the Sri Lanka Air Force falls on the 2nd of next month. Command of the Sri Lanka Air Force Air Marshal Sudarshana Patirana says that a series of programs have been organized in this connection, centering on the Air Force headquarters and 24 camps throughout the island. The official logo designed in connection with the 70th anniversary was launched at the headquarters today. Religious observances will be given prominence in the series of celebration programs scheduled to commence on the 1st of next month. The Sri Lanka Air Force has also organized an attractive aircraft display on the 3rd of this month. Commander of the Sri Lanka Air Force Air Marshal Sudarshana Patirana said that the strength of the Air Force will be amply demonstrated in the Gold Phase Green. A display of special Air Force crafts with air driving will be performed on the 3rd, 4th and 5th of next month. The displays are scheduled to commence at 5 p.m. on each day. The Air Force Commander also said that the Indian Air Force has expressed willingness to provide special groups for the air display of the Sri Lanka Air Force. Air Marshal Sudarshana Patirana also said that the Air Chiefs of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh and the Air Commander of the USA's Pacific Fleet are also expected to attend the 70th anniversary celebrations. Stay tuned for international news after this break. And with that, we conclude tonight news. Do it just tomorrow at the very same time. Stay safe.